Hi guys, this is Mrs. Taylor, and I'm going to be doing just a relatively quick video with you about converting units of measure when dealing with weight. So I have up on my screen right now the snippet of the reference sheet that you'll need when you're using converting units of measure in weight. So we have just 3 units for weight in 5th grade. So we have the ton, which is the largest unit. And we can see that 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds, right? And then 1 pound equals 16 ounces. So that just basically is telling me that ounces is the smallest unit here, and then ton is the largest unit. Okay, so I'm going to kind of pull that off to the side, and I'm going to get a whiteboard out. Okay, so what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to come up here and we're going to figure out 90 ounces. Oops, I'm sorry. 90 pounds is equal to how many ounces? And so when you're working with capacity, you have fluid ounces. This is a different measure because we're talking about weight here. So how many pounds is in an ounce? So looking back real quick, I have my 1 pound equals 16 ounces, and I'm going to write that up here at the top. So one pound equals 16 ounces. So the first thing that you want to do whenever you're converting is you want to figure out if you're going from larger to smaller or smaller to larger, because when you're going from larger to smaller, you're going to need to multiply, and when you're going from smaller to larger, you're going to need to divide. The next thing that you need to know is if you're going to, how many steps you're taking to get there. So I'm going from pounds to ounces, and ounces are smaller. So I'm going from a big unit to a small unit. So I'm going to multiply because there are going to be a lot more ounces in something than there are pounds. Just like if I was comparing feet and inches, there are going to be more inches than feet if they're equivalent because inches are smaller. So now I'm just going to take what I know, my 90, and multiply it by how many ounces are in each pound, which is 16. I'm going to get a different color here. And I'm just going to go with my algorithm. So remember, when you're doing that, you're going to take your first digit in the ones place against all numbers. So 6 times 0 is 0, and 6 times 9 is 54. I don't have to regroup because I don't have any more places to go. I'm going to add my placeholder 0 in here because this is really not 1. Remember, it's 10. 1 times 0 is 0, and 1 times 9 is 9. And now I'm just going to add these numbers up together. And again, I don't have to regroup this 14 because there's no other place values to go. So in 90 pounds, there are 1,440 ounces. Now, if I were going from ounces to pounds, then I would have to divide. So let's say that I had 48 ounces, and I need to figure out how many pounds. I have to do the same thing. So I'm going to look. I'm going from ounces to pounds, smaller to larger. So since there's going to be less pounds, I have to divide. And what do I have to divide by? How many ounces are in a pound? 16. Okay. And since I don't know my 16 facts off the top of my head, I'm going to come over here and just make a skip counting list. 16 and 16 is 32. I don't off the top of my head know what comes after 32 and adding 16. So you can draw a quick picture, add on with your fingers, skip count in your head, whatever you want to do. Would bring me to 48, and it's actually quite even. So 48 divided by 16 gives me 3. So in 48 ounces, that would make 3 pounds. Okay, so larger to smaller, you multiply to get more units. Smaller to larger, you're going to divide to get fewer units. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to look into a word problem. And the reason that we're doing this word problem in particular is because this is how you'll see a lot of questions in 5th grade, and how you'll start to see them when you get into 6th grade as well, where you have multiple steps to your conversion. So I'm going to end my corner here, right? I can already see that I have pounds and ounces. So I'm going to write up here 1 pound equals 16 ounces. So now let's read the word problem. It says the world's heaviest lobster weighed 44 pounds and 6 ounces. Write the lobster's weight in ounces below. So even though you have some ounces in here, we also have pounds. So we need to get our 2 different units of measure the same. There's a bunch of different reasons why you might need to do this. In this particular question, it's just that we have to do that because it's asking for just ounces. So I'm going to take another pen color over here. I know that I'm going to have to add 6 to however many ounces this 44 turns out to be, because this is still the amount of ounces that I have. So now I have to decide, or I'm sorry, determine how many ounces are in 44 pounds. So I'm going to kind of set it up like we did our other one. 44 pounds equals how many ounces? And now I have to think about, I'm going from pounds to ounces, so bigger to smaller, so I have to multiply so that I have more ounces. I'm going to take it over here, 44 times 16, again, because there's 16 ounces in 1 pound. And I'm just going to use my standard algorithm. So starting in the ones place, 6 times 4 is 24. Regroup my 2 up here, which is really a 20. 6 times 4 is 24 plus 2 is 26. I'm going to add my placeholder because this is not a 1, it's a 10. 1 times 4 is 4, and 1 times 4 is 4, and then I'm going to add these 2 up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 704. So now this is where a lot of people will stop and they'll say, okay, it's 704 ounces, but that's not where we stop. There's 704 ounces in 44 pounds, but remember, we actually have 44 pounds and 6 ounces. So I have to add 704 and 6. If this number was a little bit more, these numbers were more difficult, then I could line them up and do the standard algorithm. But I know that this 6 and 4 make a 10. So there are 710. Let me pull that down a little bit so that you can see. 710 ounces in 44 pounds, 6 ounces. So again, when you're going larger to smaller, you're going to multiply, and when you're going smaller to larger units, you're going to divide. All right, I hope this helps. Have a great day, guys.